the game, the press conference, and we're gonna go back to our final part of the day, which is the final whistle report. Nick Frazier is coming right along with us. I'm Claudio Villalobos from Nashville Total Sports, and remember Nick's 1.25 the game. That, so we're back here, and there's a lot to talk about this game. Not a good victory, a very resounding victory by Nashville Soccer Club, three goals to one against Minnesota United. And in many ways, this team seems unstoppable, like tonight they did against this team. A pretty good team, I might add, but Nashville was just too much here at Jody's Park, where it seems to be one of the best teams in the MLS. And if Nashville was to replicate a little bit, only a little bit of the form they get here in Jody's Park around the league, then they're up for a lot this season here in the MLS. So I mean, there's plenty to talk about it. Probably we'll be more than hopefully 30 minutes talking to you about what we thought of what we saw this Monday night here, which is with a good crowd. Actually, we didn't think it was going to be because of the rain earlier, but it did. A lot of people show up, more than 24,000 fans, and they're ready to come celebrate next Wednesday again against Messi and Inter Miami. Nick, I was just saying that if this team was to replicate a lot of what we saw tonight here against a very good team, Minnesota United, then the Nashville Soccer Club is up to a lot of good things this season in the MLS.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, tonight, let's not overlook any of what this production was tonight. I mean, this was a really good Minnesota team.
Yes.
That, posed a lot of difficult situations for Nashville. I mean, even BJ Callahan talked about it, how they were able to break some of the lines. I asked him a question, what was different from last weekend up to this weekend? And he said, just being able to find those open spaces and the flanks, and just to break the lines between the midfield and also into the attacking third. And I just think that's just, you got to look at this team as a whole, and now having Sam Surge back in the lineup after his illness last Saturday is huge for this team.
I was going to say, mention that anytime you are able to bring back the striker, the goal scorer, the guy that is the matón we said the matón we said in Spanish, but the big guy, and then it shows very well, and Sam just keep being Sam, scoring goals of any kind.
Yeah.
The first one that he scored tonight was kind of unbelievable.
Yeah, I was looking on Foot Mob, and they were trying to describe Sam Surge's goal, and it said other body part. And I think you kind of know where I'm going with this. So if you didn't see the goal, I'd definitely go check out the highlights, because it was something interesting. And again, the guy that put that ball on net was Patrick Esbeck.
Yes.
And he was one of the guys in the post-match press conference tonight. Had a really good game. I think the last couple of weekends, he's in pretty good form right now. And again, you go back and look at his team last season up to now, it's night and day difference, especially for Patrick Yazbek. I think he's finally adjusting to the system. And he even talked about it with your question about the DNA. It's just, the BJ Callahan DNA, finally being able to see, from year one to year two, how to adapt. And I even asked him about, some of the passes that they make on the field, just, not having to make that extra pass, just being able to cut it and go to one big pass to switch play and progress right into the attacking third. And again, that's where Nashville is most dangerous. When you can finally break that like first pass where you don't need to pass it off to Jason Palacios, and you can finally just swing it over to Andy Nahar. I think that is exactly what makes Nashville so special to watch, especially this year in the MLS.
Now, and that with the same point that you're talking about, and that's the second question I asked. I don't know, first or second question I asked Patrick Jasper about it, because the team really looked very well in the first game against New England. Tonight, for sure, it didn't look as well against FC Dallas for a lot of reasons. And I asked him about if it was just a formation or if it was just the rival. I guess the rival has a lot to do with it. But I mean, my question is, and I probably have to leave it here, and I'll hear your opinion, Nick. If teams come and decide that they are able to actually find where to hurt Nashville in terms of not letting them play like they did tonight or in the first game, is that going to cause a lot of trouble? How is that going to happen? Is it just, how much was it the actual 4-3-3 formation in Dallas against what they present or DJ presents tonight?
In comparison to the 4-2-2 that they normally play with.
Right.
I don't know. I think the 4-3-3 to me, and I know they probably won't admit this, I think it was an experiment. again, early on in the season against an FC Dallas team that, to be honest with you, is pretty good.
Yes,
They know how to break down all those passing lanes in the middle of the field
They
with
did.
that 3-5-2, and it posed a problem for Nashville. And again, that's why BJ, I think, in my opinion, went to a 3 midfield against Dallas, is because he was trying to add that extra midfielder in there. Because if you go pass a ball from Dallas and that back 3 into 2 or 3 more midfielders, Yazbek and Tagsats are going to be running all over the place, and they'd be fatigued by tonight. And so that, I think, going back to that 4-2-2-2, especially at home, it brings more stability. And again, they've already seen a 3 at the back team, and going up against I wouldn't say a depleted Minnesota team, but a Minnesota team that doesn't have all their players.
No.
One of them being specifically James Rodriguez.
Of course.
And when you take him out of the attacking third in the midfield there, as that attacking midfielder, a lot changes for this
They're
team.
going to look a lot different what happens in the field.
Absolutely. Because tonight, like I just mentioned to start the post-match review here, they were a testy side tonight. They were very competitive. And for Nashville, they understood how to break in the midfield, honestly. I think that's what really separated them from other things. But to your question, though, yeah, Nashville, that from Dallas, it was an experiment. And tonight, they understood how to get rid of that.
Part of it, and I was just describing that in one of my tweets. Like, you were next to me sitting when I said that. What worked tonight is what works most of the time for this team. What works most of the time for this team, with this what I already call, at least in my platform, the VJ grit. The VJ grit,
Yeah.
that big pressure that the Nashville put against the players. I mean, the other teams right up front, outside that area. The transition is never easy for those teams at all. And then all of a sudden, Nashville's got those long possession.
Mm-hmm.
That, I mean, really, when you're chasing the ball, when you don't have your ball in your feet and you're chasing it because the other team has it, that causes a lot of pressure on the team, the frustration. There's so much stuff that this thing causes on them. And then finally, everybody's like attacking the goal. I mean, everybody's attacking the goal. We see. You already said it, Taxi. We see Taxi. We see Yazbek. Yazbek could have easily had a goal tonight.
That's true.
He assisted too, but he could have easily had that. And that's something we didn't see like in the first season. I mean, something is clicking well there. And the only thing that worries me, again, I bring it back, is that the teams know that what's new in Nashville is that transition coming all the way with ball possession from the very, very back of their own their own quarter,
Yeah.
and then bringing all the ball up well dominated into the other half. I mean, as long as this team can do that, even this that we're talking about, and we're going to discuss this a little bit later, or maybe Tuesday night.
Yeah.
But we're going to see this. This is different from any team in the MLS facing this team, and it's probably something that Miami is already taking a look into, because
That'd be
it's not going to be easy.
No, and 2 things. One, to take away from tonight and to look forward to Tuesday. Tonight, Nashville kind of got back to their old ways.
Yes.
In a good way, that is. When they played New England, first thing when the first kickoff happened, high press, high press, high press. That's just the way they're known to play. And that's what they should have been doing all along against Dallas. They were high pressing a little bit, but having a 3 midfielder was a little difficult. Tonight, they were able to do that. And again, 2 of those goals tonight, personally to me, were because Nashville forced Minnesota to give the ball away. And then what did Nashville do best?
High pressure.
High pressure,
Yeah.
and they counterattacked immediately. That's something that Nashville has become very good at under BJ Callahan. And again, maybe that's a part of the DNA, which definitely it is. I'm not going to question at all. It's for sure a part of BJ Callahan's DNA.
And I was just thinking when I kind of do my little final report, the final tweet tonight, I was saying that obviously there is a team performance that really gets this team the points tonight. But I mean, you cannot stay away from what Sam Surridge did, where Jasbeck did, and I'm gonna say what Christian Espinosa as well did. I mean, the fact that he apologized pretty much, that's what he did in the press conference, because he kind of took the fall. He said that Nashville didn't win the last game because of him. Well, that's not true. And BJ told us that that's not true. I mean, that's nice for him and everything. That's humble, but no, that's not the case. And I agree with him mostly. But he took matters on his own hand. And tonight, Christian Espinosa showed once again why he's a different maker in the team, a different bowler, the way he controls the ball, the way he crosses into the area, and the well he communicates very nicely and very well with Andy Nahar.
Yes.
And Patrick Jasbeck being on that side. I mean, we were saying it there at the press box. Minnesota knew what the problem was and wasn't able to solve. They were not able to solve it. They didn't have the depth. We were talking about it. The problem for Minnesota tonight was their left side. Nashville was doing there whatever they wanted, with especially with those three guys, Jasbeck, Nahar, and Espinosa.
Espinosa.
And they did whatever they wanted all game long. No, there was nothing they could do. It probably if they were playing tonight, they would still been doing it.
And also, too, and give credit to Ben and Valer that asked these questions. I'll start with, and this goes to my second topic I was going to mention there. One was Ben asked about Brian Schwacke and how he's able to control that back line. And to know what Yazbek mentioned about how he feels comfortable playing with two center backs that like to have a high line and be high up into the attack, which is good for this team because it fits, what they're trying to do. But it's good to know that Brian Schwacke is a young goalkeeper, is a kind of carrying himself as a true pro, a veteran.
Yeah.
And he's knowing how to, stretch.
Well, the same you could say for Willetsy.
Yeah, absolutely.
He looks like he's been here forever.
Absolutely. And the other thing,
we already knew what Jason Palacios could do.
Right.
But the question was, as well as the good word that came behind him, Willetsy was just the one piece that we say, well, how is that going to fit?
Right.
I don't think anybody asked that question anymore.
Not one bit. And the other thing was Valer when he asked about, how comfortable Patrick is getting in with the team. And again, passing wise.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
again, that's just, it's vital. And looking at Nashville tonight, going into my second part about all this, they got back to the old way of when they have a lead, and that's what Valer asked to BJ about, playing with the lead. This team kind of struggled a little bit in years past doing that. Tonight, we saw that they were able to hold a lead.
Yes.
And again, they've done that in, games past. We were able to hold lead for sure. That's fine, whatever. But at the same time, you look at it and think they're cycling the ball. They're wearing down the defense. They're wearing down the opposing team. And they know how to take advantage of that. And I think that's just huge. Again,
we could see, and we could see the, like I said already,
Yeah.
the frustration on the other team's faces and the coaches. What was just
Well, we saw it at the very end of the game
Yeah.
when Ahmed Kassim and another player
Yeah,
from
got into
Minnesota
it.
got into it head to head. I
Yeah.
thought that was kind of telling a little bit to know that Minnesota is sick and tired of it, honestly. And I think when you crack the egg, the yolk is going to fall out of the shell.
now among all the things that we talked about that were positive tonight. What would be that particular one, just one, that you stay with?
What
That you
moment in
would
the
keep?
game?
Yeah.
Ooh, I would say Christian Espinoza. And I'm not just trying to steal your thunder at all, but
No.
the way he responded, obviously you mentioned his comments from the pre-match press conference,
Yes.
Wednesday, Thursday, whenever it was. He kind of played with a little bit more confidence under his belt. He would say, hey, I'm a true pro out here. I'm going to show you I can still play with these guys. I'm not in a mental rut where I have to kind of take a breather. And, hey, I don't want to out you at all, but up in the press box, like, when do we sit a guy like that, right? No, you just don't. A pro has to figure this out on the field.
True.
They really do. And so for Espinoza to go out there, the one thing I liked was down here on this side of the pitch as we're watching from the field, Espinoza hit a striking ball outside the box, and Callender couldn't do anything and just hit his chest and it rolled out. To me, that showed confidence like, hey, I can go kick a ball for about 20 yards, 23 yards, and I want to put it on net and see what happens. And again, that just goes to show you, like, I relate this to hockey a little bit. When you have guys that call them greasers that are right out front of the
Yeah.
goal and they just kind of, put their stick at it. That's kind of what Nashville does. They put a shot on goal. They got 3 or 4 guys going towards it, and that's huge. Absolutely huge.
In my case, obviously, you already said about the Christian and the way he decided to show his professionality tonight. I mean, he just said, well, that wasn't me. That is not me. This is me. And he showed it tonight. And we knew he could do it. We knew the kind of professional he is. But I'm going to stay, in this case, with all the 4 goals. To me, they were wonderful goals. And I had to bring along the goal from Minnesota, which was a wonderful strike. It was beautiful.
Incredible.
One of those strikes that you maybe, that's good that it was only 1 goal for them. But if it would have been a winner, we have to probably swallow it
And again,
and stay quiet.
in years past, if that were the old Nashville SC, they probably would have caved in.
Yes.
They would have struggled and probably tied 1-1. No, this team is a lot different than that.
Even lose the game with that goal.
And I think there's another moment I'll definitely highlight. Not a big factor to some people, but the off-the-ball movement from Hani Mukhtar tonight I thought was huge because he was almost used as a decoy in a roundabout way to where Minnesota had to go and put a body in front of him to cut off a passing lane, and it just opened more opportunities for Madrigal and Espinoza. Sam Surge, obviously. Tonight, Sam Surge recorded another brace. That is his 9th multi-goal of his career with Nashville SC and his 6th brace of his career with Nashville SC.
Now that you mentioned Hani Mukhtar, kudos to BJ Callahan because in my opinion, and this, in my opinion, might not matter for a guy like Honey, but I think he agrees. He's playing the best soccer of his life right now.
Absolutely.
He is. It doesn't matter if he scores or not. He's just doing it for the team, and you can, and it tells. It shows everywhere in the game. Sometimes he just still tries to do his own thing, but that's he can't get all the way.
It's a Honey.
It's
I call it a
stuff.
Honey.
Yeah,
There
Honey,
you go.
correct. But he's still become one of the real true players of this team, and now he's happy to be with Espinosa playing on that side. He knows that he can combine very well with of course Sam already,
Yeah.
and then he knows this all these other assets that the team has, the depth that this team has got now that makes Nashville so dangerous right now in the MLS.
The tiki taka passes are getting really good with this team. The one touch passes. I mean, when Matthew Corcoran comes back from his red card suspension, this team's about to, I think, hit another level. And again, I think I might be over exaggerating it a little bit, maybe trimming me back a little bit, but
Right.
We've seen what they can do in the CONCACAF Champions Cup against an Ottawa team. Sure, the gap's a little different there with the competition, but again, that builds confidence. A game like this, winning 3-1 at home, is a confidence
Before a game
booster.
like that, oh yeah.
Exactly. So
No,
you're going up against Inter Miami on Wednesday.
And then when you talk about the tiki, the difference with Nashville is that a lot of teams are able to do that, and you don't see them advancing in the field. Nashville does it, and all of a sudden they're right on the other team's area quickly. And that's what makes it different. As long as this team, like I said already, as long as this team keep doing that and is able to do it more often than not during the game, then they will be closer to victory, like they should be this coming Wednesday. Which I want to get into it already with you, but I know we'll be back. We'll be back.
We got a teaser for that too. That's coming up on Tuesday night. We'll be live for that.
We'll be live for that, and we'll be trying to tell you guys our opinions on why we think this time is different, why we think this Nashville team is different, and why this team should be able to actually cause Miami a headache on this coming Wednesday here at home, and perhaps in the two-game series. Why not?
There's a
We'll see.
two-leg series. Again, look, just a little small preview to that. Nashville, I think, is going to play pretty tight in the first leg. I don't think we're going to see a lot of goals. We're going to see a lot of chess piece movement. It's like, all right, who makes the first, bad move here or there? I think that's what we're going to see in the first leg. The second leg, unfortunately, is in Miami, and that's.
But if I remember well, goals, the amount of goals don't count, right? I don't know. I have to check.
Yeah, there is an aggregate.
Sorry.
There is aggregate.
Okay,
so that's a factor to put into there. But overall, yeah, I think this is a team that can. Again, I've said this multiple times on the record, on the radio, on this show, on Talking Calcio podcast, that this team will win a championship, whether it's the Leagues Cup, CONCACAF Champions Cup, or if it's MLS regular season.
They're up to something.
Yeah,
there's no question about it.
Absolutely. So we'll see you guys on Tuesday night live on Nashville Total Sports and the Talking Calcio podcast on the Game National Sports Network and also on Nashville Total Sports. So we'll see you guys. Ci vediamo.